Hi friends, welcome to Kraku's video series. I'm Saili Kale. I'm one of the co-founders of Kraku and an alumna of IIM Ahmedabad. In today's video, we are going to take a look at the XAT exam. We'll be seeing what we should do to prepare for XAT exam, the XAT exam structure, what to expect in the exam, the syllabus, everything we'll take a closer look at. And we'll also see how you have to use the XAT crash course to ace this exam. So let's get started. We'll begin by first taking a look at the important details as far as the XAT exam is concerned. So remember, because of COVID, there have been certain important changes in the XAT exam. The time slot has changed. It is now 9:30 to 12:30. It is a 3 hours long exam. The essay writing section has been axed. So there is no essay writing in this particular XAT exam. Instead of 99 questions, you have 100 questions. Not a big change, but just remember you have 100 questions. These 100 questions will be split into two parts. So you'll have part 1 and part 2. There are 75 questions in part 1, which is over 165 minutes. Unlike CAT, where you can't switch between sections, in XAT you are able to switch between sections and you can answer in any order, and you can answer as many questions from any and spend as much time you want in any section as such. In these 165 minutes, you have to do 75 questions of 3 sections. So you have 26 questions of verbal and logical ability, you have 21 questions of decision making, and you have 28 quantitative ability and data interpretation questions. So this is the 75 questions that you have to do over 165 minutes. And once that is done, you have a 15-minute part 2 test, which is only on GK. So the general knowledge test will be of 25 questions and you have 15 minutes to solve it. Remember that your percentile will depend on part 1 only. The part 2 is basically it's a hurdle that you have to overcome. There is a sectional cutoff you have to meet, but it does not really contribute to your percentile as such. You have to ace part 1 to get a good seat as such. So as you can see, verbal and logical ability, if you have given CAT, you will be familiar with all of these aspects like verbal and quant. But there is a new section for you, which is decision making, which has 21 questions as such. Even if you have not given CAT, we will be taking a look at the different questions and syllabus of each section individually. But if you have taken CAT, the new section for you to focus on is decision making. So let us take a look at. Also just remember that there is no negative marking for GK, but for your normal questions it is +1 and -2.25. So basically +1 for the correct answer, -0.25 for the wrong answer. There are 5 options. So you should not mark indiscriminately, because if you mark indiscriminately, the chance of you getting a right answer is 0.2. 1 by 5, and it is -0.25 for the wrong answer. So just remember that there is a negative marking for most questions. The key changes that you have to remember in this case is there is no essay writing. So because of that, the total time has been reduced. Also just remember, in this particular case, they have said that there might be numerical answer type questions, that is TITA questions, where you have to use a virtual keypad to type in the answer. So that can come in XAT this year. Another thing that you have to note, for the NAT questions, there is no negative marking. Another thing that you have to remember in this particular case is that there is a penalty for unattempted questions. So if you leave more than 8 questions unattempted, so beyond 8 questions, you will face a penalty of 0.1 marks per unattempted question. So basically, you should not leave large parts of it empty. The reason why that is the case is because what happens often is that the cutoffs for XAT are low. That is, if you have seen the XAT paper, especially the DM section, many times the cutoffs are in single digit. Now they want to distinguish between somebody who attempted many questions, got many of them right but many of them wrong, versus somebody who just attempted what he was sure of and left the paper unattempted. So because of that, there is also a penalty for leaving many questions unattempted as such. So there is 0.1 marks penalty for leaving more than 8 questions per question. If you leave more than 8 questions unattempted. If you leave 8 questions or less than 8 questions unattempted, there is no penalty for unattempted questions. So this is the basic structure. From this, you know that you need to have a good idea of GK, but you need to ace the 3 sections, which is verbal ability and logical ability, quant and DI, and decision making. So let's take a close look at each of these sections and how to actually do well in each of these sections. So we'll start with quant and DI. See, much of quant and DI is similar to quant and DI of CAT. So if you are not familiar with quant of CAT, what you should expect is fair bit of arithmetic. So arithmetic includes ratio and proportion, mixtures and solutions, time, speed, distance, time and work, profit and loss. All of the basic things that are part of arithmetic as part of CAT will also be part of XAT. You also have geometry, quite a bit of geometry. So basically coordinate geometry, mensuration of solids, triangles, circles, and basically all the basic parts of geometry are still part of geometry over here. So you have to revise arithmetic and geometry of CAT carefully. Also there is algebra, same as that of CAT. You have quadratic equations, linear equations, graphs, and progressions in series. So you have to revise these three, similar to CAT, similar difficulty level also. So you have to revise them just as much as you did from CAT. If you have not attempted CAT, you will have to do them fresh for XAT as such. But if you have attempted CAT, you will have to revise those topics because all of those questions do come in XAT. Now, one more thing is that number systems, remember, number systems in CAT has undergone a series of change, especially after they had the on-screen calculator, where the number of questions that came for remainder theory became much lesser. In XAT, you still get remainder theory questions. So you get your HCF, LCM, and last two digits, what would be the digits of this number, base system, all of those number system questions still come in XAT. But what additionally comes is remainder theorems. So not your difficult remainder theorem questions, but questions of the last two digits. Those kind of questions do come in XAT as such. So you need to refresh your memory of remainder theories as such. So go make sure that this is an additional topic you have to do well. Remainder theorems, if you are skipped for CAT, you have to do now. If you are doing it for the first time, make sure you do them well in detail. An additional part of geometry that is not really covered that much in CAT but is part of XAT is trigonometry. So in CAT, just knowing the basic trigonometric ratios, what is sine, cos, tan was enough, and knowing the sine, cos, tan values of basic angles was enough. But in XAT, it is one step further. You need to know trigonometric identities. So essentially, you have to have a very good in-depth understanding of trigonometric identities, especially heights and distances. You can expect at least one question on heights and distances in XAT paper. So these parts are additional parts of geometry that have come in XAT as such, which don't really come in CAT. Another question which has almost disappeared from CAT is probability. You very rarely see probability questions in CAT these days. But what probability often comes in XAT. So if you have not done probability for CAT, or if you are attempting XAT for the first time, make sure you take a close look at probability, because you can expect at least one question from it. Now you also have data sufficiency. Data sufficiency, generally there are two questions from data sufficiency. In data sufficiency, you will have to figure out how many, which statements are necessary and sufficient to figure out the solution. So we have a separate videos for all of these additional quant topics. You need to revise and do these in detail in addition to your revision of CAT. And in addition to this, you also have data interpretation. So data interpretation is mostly basically quant based data interpretation. If you see in CAT, DILR section has mostly become LR. Everything seems to be LR-ish, where reasoning is the key more than data interpretation as such. But in this particular data interpretation, you will get pie charts, you will get tables, you will get a proper DI type data interpretation set. So you need to refresh those for XAT especially. So these are the areas that you need to cover. These are the additional topics you have to cover beyond CAT. So essentially what I want you to do is basically go and revise CAT. In addition to that, do these additional topics well. Now in your crash course, we'll be covering the additional topics in depth, and we'll also be revising these topics. Okay, so this is for the Kraku XAT crash course. So essentially just remember what are the additional topics you have to cover. These are the additional topics that you have to cover for specific to XAT. Other than that, whatever your CAT syllabus was, which is mostly arithmetic, geometry, algebra and number systems, still forms the crux of your attempt even in XAT as such. If you are very good at this, most of the new paper would be familiar to you. So you can solve XAT paper as well. So this is the basic thing that you have to remember as far as quant and DI is concerned. Now we come to the second section, which is verbal and logical ability. This is not the ordering of actual section in XAT. Generally, the section ordering is verbal and DI abilities first, then you have decision making, and last you have quant section. So I can't say for sure this will be the order that is followed even in this year, but generally this is the order that is followed. My order is slightly different because I'm just telling you what additional topics you have to do. So in verbal and logical ability, this, if you have already done CAT, you will have a good idea of what the CAT topics were. So if you have already done CAT, you know that you have to be good at RCs, para jumbles and para summaries. So in this case, you don't have para summary. Instead of that, you have para completion. So you have to take a look at, I have not put it over here, but you have to do para completion examples. You have to do para jumbles. So para jumbles are same as para jumbles, but they are non-theta. So basically you will be given options as such. The tricky part over here is that para jumbles, even with options, tend to be on a harder side, because when the paper setters set the para jumbles, they take non-contiguous sentences. So they take a paragraph, take the first line, fourth line, seventh line, ninth line, 11th line. Now unscrambling that is difficult. So basically you have to remember that while solving theta para jumbles, you have to use the chain of thought method. So make sure that you see that particular video, because it is important to solving para jumbles in XAT. So that is the main change over here. In RCs, basically like CAT, XAT RCs also form the crux of your XAT attempt. You will get 14 to 15 questions from RCs. Remember, one of these RCs will be poem RC. So you will have one poem followed by 2 questions. Now a lot of students are completely stumped by poem RCs because they are not used to solving poems or not used to reading poems. Just remember, don't get intimidated by poem RCs. They are in fact the easiest RCs you can solve. The reason for that is that there is an easy way to solve poem RCs. Read the poem. Most of the time the poem completely is above my head because I am not a very poetic person. Then what I do is I go to the questions. I go and see the questions. I see the options. From the options I get an idea, okay, maybe this is the deeper meaning. Once I see the options, I see a probable meaning for the poem. Then I go and reread the poem with a new eyesight of what the options suggest. Then I get the hidden meaning of poems in most times. If you do that, mostly you will find the 2 questions that are there as part of poem RCs to be super easy. So this is an additional part where RCs you have one poem RC of 2 questions, and you also have very short RCs, short paragraphs followed by 3 questions as such. So you have short RCs of 3 question RCs, and you have 4 such sets, 3-4 such short RCs and 1 poem RC as such. Now the other, this RCs are like 14-15 questions out of 26. The next biggest chunk is CR, that is critical reasoning. So critical reasoning is basically you will be asked, okay, which of the following can be inferred from, you will be given a paragraph and you will be asked what is the conclusion of the paragraph, what can be inferred, what would strengthen the argument, what would weaken the argument, what is the flaw in the argument, what is the extra information required to evaluate this argument. Everything we have covered in our CR section in great detail. So CR is something that you have to do very well for XAT. You have to make sure that you're flawless in CR. That plus RC will get you through the verbal ability comfortably. So CR is something, critical reasoning is the second part, which is extremely important for XAT as such. Now there are some smaller questions that come in XAT, like vocab based questions. So you'll have 3 questions which are fill in the blanks. These are easy questions to do. Mostly what you have to look at are basically commonly confused words, meanings of words. So you need a broad vocabulary to solve these kind of questions. We'll be looking at each of these additional topics in detail in our XAT course, but essentially big vocabulary will help. So if you can do some flashcards if possible. Also there will be analogies, so you have to have some idea of antonyms, synonyms, how words are related, basic ideas like, okay, opposing words or essentially big small kind of words. So essentially you have to understand even the relationship between words. So those also come as part of vocab based questions. Another type of questions that come which are not part of CAT are grammar and sentence corrections. You can have 1 or 2 questions from grammar and sentence correction. You can either be asked to pick the right grammatically correct sentence, like the same sentence is given in slightly modified forms. 5 sentences are given, of those 5 you have to pick up the sentence which is the most grammatically correct. And another type of grammar question which is slightly harder is you are given 5 questions followed by, you will be asked, okay, how many of these 5 sentences are grammatically correct? Then you say that, okay, 1, 3 and 5 are grammatically correct, and then you have to mark that answer. So this is an additional thing that you have to learn for that. Another type of verbal ability, this is essentially their logical ability question that comes, is basically you will be given 2 statements and you have to find the relationship between statements. This is essentially a test of critical reasoning. If you're good in CR, you'll be able to solve this. We'll be covering this in detail, but essentially it's a play on critical reasoning only. So these are the additional things you have to do well for the verbal ability and logical ability section of ZAT. Now let us take a look at the third section. This is a new section for everybody, and this is the section where most students stumble. In fact, many times the cutoff for this can be single digit or very low tens as such. So knowing this in mind, you have to be very careful in your preparation for decision making. We'll be covering all the different types of contexts or scenarios that are given in each video in our ZAT course. But just remember, the most commonly asked scenarios are human resources questions like, should this person be fired? Should this person be hired? What should the person who is hiring look for? What should be the appropriate plan of action if something has gone wrong as such? So these are mostly human resources or organizational behavior kind of questions, where you are taking hiring and firing or HR decisions as such. Given the fact that XLRI has a leadership in HR, this is one of the most important DM sets you can get, and it comes most frequently. The second type of common DM set is ethical dilemmas. So ethical dilemmas basically tell you a situation where there are different actions that you can take, where some of which are ethical, some of which are unethical, and this is basically a test of your ability to gauge what is the pragmatic and ethical thing to do. Then you are also the DM section also evaluates on how sound your business sense is. So whether you have an innate business sense. So this basically comes in form of being able to evaluate an opportunity or an investment proposal, understanding the strategic implications of it. For example, evaluating a business opportunity. Should you set up a shop here? Should you move your shop to a different street? So all of these are strategic decisions, and if you have an innate sense of business, you would be able to answer these questions comfortably. Then last type of context that is generally given is basically behavioral or personal, saying that, okay, I ordered from a shopping site that cheated me, how should I react to it? So this is basically personal sense. This is not a business related DM set as such, but it basically tests your maturity and your pragmatism. So all of these are essentially a test of your maturity, understanding, or essentially your emotional quotient as a manager and a business person. So you have to think of it that this test is basically of how mature, pragmatic and business minded I am. In that crash course, we'll be teaching all of these scenarios individually and how to answer in each scenario as such. Another thing that you can have is, instead of you'll have the same context, or you can have a crisis, like an ethical crisis, and you'll be asked what should be your plan of action. So what will happen is that you'll be given some context and you'll be given 5 actions. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And based on these actions, you have to say that I have to, in what order should you take the actions to respond to this crisis. Then you have to say that I should do 3 first, then 5 next, and then 1 for, last to respond to this crisis. So these are basically, you are asked what should be your plan of action kind of DM sets. Another type of DM set question rather than the context. Okay, these are basically context. These are the paragraphs that are given. But another type of DM question that can come is basically ordering of your alternatives. So ordering of what information is necessary to evaluate the proposal. So you can say that, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bits of information are there. 5 is most important, then second is the second most important, third is the third most important, 4 and 1 are less important. So this would be one way of ordering the bits of information as far as evaluating some proposal. You can also say what steps would be most useful and least useful. Order the steps according to what would be most useful to least useful for this person. Then again you have to, given the sentences, you have to order them in the right order. So this is the other type of DM question that comes. One is plan of action and the other is ordering of sentences. We'll be taking a close look at each of them as such. Now remember, these are essentially the subjective part of decision making, and that is essentially the heart of decision making. But decision making also has objective questions, questions which are essentially LR and DI questions. DI questions can be basically break-even analysis kind of questions, saying that okay, how many units of this product should you make so that you break even. Or they can be LR type of questions, basically asking that okay, how do I maximize, or what is the max number of students that can be part of this group, what is the min number of students that can be part of this group, in how many, like essentially categorization questions where you are given that okay, there are 3 types of tickets and there's A type, B type, C type, and you have to use the rules to find out the answer. So now these are basically objective type of questions. Now when I mean objective, basically I mean that there is no ambiguity involved. You either get the answer or you get the wrong answer. In DM subjective, my personal view or my personal understanding of a particular situation might be different from somebody else's. So there's some amount of subjectivity involved, which means that for the subjective part of DM, the accuracy is generally very low, extremely low. Now given that if you have to clear the DM cutoff, what I always urge is that you should attempt the objective parts 100% of the time. So if there is any calculation involved or any logical reasoning involved, you should do that always, and you should also do the DM part, but this you should do on priority, because this you know for sure whether you have solved correctly or not. The DM parts you can, there's like a small chance that you will get it right, but there's a large chance you'll get it wrong. So this is basically how you should attempt decision making questions, and we'll have videos covering all of this in our XAT crash course. Now the last part is basically general knowledge. It is not part of the remaining 3 sections because it comes as a separate test, and this is basically a test you have to clear and it does not affect your percentile. The general split is basically based on past papers. You have 70% static and 30% current. So 30% of it would be based on current affairs and 70% would be static GK. Now essentially in this particular case, if you are well read, if you have read the newspaper every single day for the last 1 year, you will be well placed. If you have not, what you need to do is basically you have to review the entire year. So we'll be putting up videos reviewing the year, what were the biggest news items. So you need to basically essentially see the news highlights of the previous year. The other type of questions that come in this section is basically you need an idea of awards. So basically all awards from say Booker Prize, Nobel Prize, Sports Trophy, every awards you should see okay what were the awards that were given. This is heads of state. Now knowing the head of state for India is a given, but you should also know the head of state of other countries, smaller countries, and from like Ukraine to every other country. Just try to see through that list once. Types of question that come often in XAT is basically geography. So geography, you have to have some basic idea of okay where each country is and what are the biggest like say deserts, etc, etc. But mostly when it comes to geography, the focus is on business aspect of geography. So when I say business aspect of geography, the capitals are important, the currencies are important. So essentially you just remember, rather than remembering the art forms of different areas or around the world, you need to remember the capitals and currencies of different places around the world. So just make sure that you have an idea of capitals and currencies. Also, even if you're not a sports buff, just see what were the biggest sports, who won what, which Grand Slam, who won which sports trophy, Premier League, everything for the last 1-2 years. Just make sure that you know the winners and the basic who are the sports awardees also. So basically like who has won like the Dronacharya award or Khel Ratna, all of those you need to know. So all of those sports related awards and events, all of those you need to know. Another thing which is vast but necessary is Indian civics. Especially basically just have an overview of the different articles that are there. This is extremely difficult to do, but at least see the articles that were in the news for one or the other reason. If they were repealed or they have been changed or anything of that sort, make sure that you see those particular things. And the last and most important is corporate GK. So basically over the last few years, just see what were the mergers and acquisitions, what were the bankruptcies, who are the different heads of corporations. That is an important thing for a business person to know, and hence it is an important thing for a business student to know. So you will be tested on that. Okay, so this is the basic thing that you need to know as far as general knowledge is concerned. Now we come to the important part of how to use XAT crash course of Kraku. So basically what we are going to focus on in our next few days for XAT is basically we'll be covering every additional topic we will be covering in detail. We'll also be giving you subjects to revise from your CAT syllabus which are going to come in your XAT syllabus. And we'll be giving you 5 mocks which are very high quality mocks so that you space them through your entire month of preparation and take all of them so that you have adequate exposure to taking XAT mocks as such. I would suggest that if you are already given CAT and you are already comfortable with all of the CAT formulas and topics, for you to clear XAT, DM is crucial. It's the new topic and it is going to basically make or break your attempt. So make sure you give DM the adequate importance and you solve enough DM questions as such. Also focus on all the new topics that have been added on to Quant and VA. If you have started your preparation now and you have not given CAT, please start also revising every single thing from CAT. All the parts of CAT that are part of XAT you have to do from fresh, and even though if you have given CAT, you have to revise, keep on revising so that all those aspects are still fresh in your memory. And always remember when you are revising also for CAT, remember that more than CAT in XAT you have to have an emphasis on formulae. So you will have 5 XAT mocks. I want you to essentially order them according to, spread them out in the next few weeks till XAT, and I'm going to leave that to you when you have to take the XAT mocks. Keep the XAT mocks, don't keep it too close to Jan 3rd also. You have to give yourself time to analyze and improve from the mocks, but essentially put more of them towards the end rather than at the start. And in the initial part, focus on revision of CAT and XAT new topics as such. So every day what we are going to do is we are going to do a day by day schedule. The day by day schedule helps a lot of students keep track of their preparation as such. So it essentially helps you break down the work that has to be done into small portions so that you keep doing them regularly as such. So every day, like you will get there's a schedule table, right? So every day we'll be giving you a new topic to do. So a new topic, DM topic or quant topic to do. And in addition to that, we'll also be adding revision videos for CAT. So on the XAT schedule page, what I would want you to do is, after you see each playlist, there will be the concepts for that day, the tests for that day. After you're done with the concept and test, what I want you to do is go down to below in that below the schedule. You'll see the videos, all videos that are there, and all the topic tests that are there. In addition to your playlist schedule, you have to do study room practice. We have our entire study room is open to you. There are many DM sets that you can answer. There are many CAT, quant and verbal and different types of RC sets and different types of quant questions that you can answer. So basically also practice from that. So whatever additional topics that have been covered, so like data sufficiency, I want you to go down and actually give topic tests for that. So the topic test won't be part of the schedule, that is on you to actually do. But every day, every morning, you will get a mail saying that, okay, these are the things you have to cover. This is the concept you have to cover. This is the concept test you have to do. These are the CAT topics that you have to revise. So you must do that regularly as such. So if you are able to do that, I'm sure if you follow the schedule faithfully, you will crack that, definitely. So best of luck to all my students. I hope you do exceedingly well in XAT. Thank you.